Current-day Palau is home to 21,729 people and made up of almost 340 coral and volcanic islands. It sits on the western part of the Pacific Ocean. The islands are connected within an expansive lagoon that houses almost all of the islands. It reaches for 70 miles northeast and southwest. Mangroves and atolls surround many of the islands, creating habitats for animals and fish. The island's climate tends to stay within range up until recently. They would receive rainfall ranging from 120 to 160 inches per year, and humidity stays within 75 to 80%. Marine life in Palau is extraordinary to say the least. With its size and range, it has the most marine species in the world.
It's very delicate and one of a kind.
You come to Palau, it's guaranteed that any snorkeler or any scuba diver will be able to see a shark. And that's the value of conservation. The ocean is very important for Palau because really it is our culture, it is our way of life, it is our economy, it's our self-sustaining source of why we're Palauans.
There's a huge offshore fishery that the current fishermen participate in. My husband is one of those people. So he sells it to the hotels, he sells it to the restaurant, we eat it at home. But there's less and less of the fish available in those areas where they're doing offshore fishery. And eventually, if we don't do anything about it, it doesn't get any better. It gets worse.
I used to dive 10 years ago, and I noticed the decline in all the fish that we see. But with this marine sanctuary coming, if it is created, our dive shops will be best in the world.
We can always argue that we still have a lot and stuff, but we have to take action, and we have to take action now. That we can, there's still fish in the water, and if we wait until there's no fish, it'll be too late, and nothing we can do will matter anyway.
I remember my father whacking me across the head with a bamboo pole because I had caught too much fish. His message to me that day was that, son, you never should take more than what you need. Think about tomorrow. Don't think just about today. And that's an ocean lesson that I hope everyone will take to heart these days, because we really need to do something serious about the ocean.
Climate change raises many problems for the future of food security on Palau and is the main concern for all who live on the island. Climate change has caused sea levels to rise and caused problems with agriculture traditions that have been passed down for generations. These taro patches, called mesas, have a specific structure and water flow that allow these taros to grow healthy. They not only supplied people with sustainable and reliable food, but also have protected their reefs. Studies show that the sediment that comes off the mountains due to rainfall and erosion are filtered out in these mesas before reaching the ocean, preventing damage that would have been caused to their coral reefs. A quote from Koshiba, a researcher studying sedimentation in Palau, says, "The use of water runoff in irrigation of taro fields and the traditional practices of managing taro fields decrease the export of terrestrial fine sediment to coastal waters and coral reefs." These mesas now face a danger due to rising sea levels, bringing in king tides and seawater through the ground, causing salt water to get into these irrigation systems and end up killing the taro. Climate change also brings a problem to their reefs, which is also another main food source for the islands. It has caused a pH shift in the ocean due to acid rain and increased amounts of CO2 from the air entering the ocean. This is causing coral reefs to bleach and force fish to move away from these reefs. Now people have to go out further to follow their recent migrations.
For the issues of overfishing, Google and Skytooth experts have created a global fishing watch program to advance ocean sustainability and bring awareness to the effects of overfishing on food sustainability and the environment. The website offers free data and real-time tracking of global commercial fishing activities. This data provides governments, fishery managements, organizations, researchers, and the fishing industries to work together to rebuild fisheries and protect critical marine habitats.
The nations of the Pacific are on the front line of climate change. Scattered across the largest ocean in the world, these fragile, culturally diverse island states are united by common threats to their climate. Rising sea levels, changing rainfall patterns, increasingly intense tropical cyclones, and warming and acidification of coastal waters. The Pacific Adaptation to Climate Change Project has assessed the vulnerability of 14 Pacific Island nations and has begun responding to these needs.
According to the Pacific Agriculture Policy Project, Palau has created a policy to ensure food and economical security. The process for developing this policy's framework incorporates institutional, community, ecosystems, and economical resilience. The Palau Adaptation to Climate Change Program's vision is to achieve a resilient, sustainable, and food-secured Palau. In efforts to improve sustainable farming, they are introducing climate-resilient crops and training in traditional food processing and preservations, while also raising plant beds in low-lying areas and constructing more dikes to limit saltwater intrusion from the rising sea levels. The Palau Farm Loan Program, established in 2013, was created to support the development of local farms, with the intention of countering the reliance on imported produce, according to the Palau Agriculture Policy Bank, promoting Go Local to limit imported goods.
In addition to climate change, fish consumption has also caused the conditions of Palau's ecosystem to worsen. As the number of tourists more than doubled from 2005 to 2015, pressures on Palau's marine resources and coastlines became more noticeable, with local fishermen stating that the fish were smaller and that their catches were half of what they had been before the growth of the tourism industry. This is primarily because hotels and restaurants are buying a huge majority of the fish that makes it onto Palau's local markets. Despite the economy's growing dependence on tourism, the nation has already taken steps to minimize damage to local marine life at the hands of humans. As of 2015, marine sanctuaries protected 80% of Palau's exclusive economic zone, and the president took further steps to control the number of tourists in 2017 by proposing a bill which has limited visits to the island to wealthier tourists willing to pay a lot more money. Even so, these tourists have shown little respect or support for the considerable efforts that have been made by both community members and leaders of Palau to ensure the health and safety of their marine environment. Given their traditionally sustainable ways of living in harmony with nature, and the fact that it is already a requirement for visitors to Palau to pay green fees upon leaving the islands, ecotourism practices have the potential to ease pressures on the indigenous residents of Palau without crippling the nation's economy. The purpose of ecotourism is to gain a deeper understanding and respect for both the environment and culture, while minimizing negative impacts and providing financial support for conservational establishments. In addition to shifting consumption away from key herbivorous reef species and towards pelagic open water species, implementing policies to promote ecotourism could help Palauans preserve their natural resources in such a way that protects their cultural identity as well as ties to the ocean.
Start by washing all veggies. Next, start to peel your taro. Get a hand grater and start grating the taro. Cut both ends off the onion and then cut it in half while continuing to grate the taro. Now grate the onion into the bowl with the taro. Combine and add salt and pepper. Heat a pan with oil and then make into patties and gently place into the pan. After cooking them for 2 minutes on each side, put them on a plate lined with paper towels. While hot, season with extra salt and wait till cooled.
And tell us what you think.